Hi, this is Joanne Hewins from LoveToCreate.typepad.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Let me say that again, LoveToCreate.typepad.com. Today we're going to make this card, and it will be using the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. This comes in two boxes, and it's new with the catalog this year. It also has a set of dies that goes with it. We're not going to use those today for our card, but it's called the Magnolia Memory Dies. Now, this stamp set can be found in the brand new catalog. It's part of one of the bundles, and it's found way down here on page 37. So look at this, and then sample, and then you can see that there are lots more samples back here with the Magnolia Lane suite. Just lots of samples. This is one of those that you can order if you want it all. You can order with one number. And then on the next page, 2 more pages of samples and things to see. The paper for this is magnificent. Just look at that 3D item there. But let's get busy with what we're going to work on today. Let me move this out of the way and get the packet open for this. Okay. Now I saw lots of things on Pinterest showing the white flowers. I just feel like they are so striking. They just called to me. So today we're going to talk about how to do that. For the card base, I'm using Crumb Cake. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and then we'll fold that down the middle and increase that with our bone folder. And I'm going to go ahead and work with the background of this first. And we're going to be using the small Magnolia, and we are going to be using Early Espresso ink for this. So I'm going to pull in just a piece of scrap paper to stamp this on. And we'll just be going around the outside of the card. And when you do a border like that, turn it around. Use a lot of different directions as you go, just so that it looks, I don't know, it just adds interest to everything. So I'm almost done with going around the outside. Let's go from this direction. Okay, I think I'm going to put just a little bit of a hint of a leaf there. Okay. We're going to ignore that phone. I'm not filming where I usually do, so I'm sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and work on this inside here. And the thing that's wrong with my card is that the gold embossing really isn't showing so much right there. But I can tell you how to fix that. So, you know, you live and learn, don't you? So I'm going to stamp this with my Versamark pad. This is a big giant stamp set, and I did get my label on there crooked. When they say once it's down, they're not kidding. So I'm going to ink this up. Now this stamp is looking pretty raunchy. It's been through a class of doing this, and I will clean it really good after this video. Well, I ended up getting my mat all dirty anyway. I should have, well, we're fine. Okay, so I turned it around, and I'm going to stamp that again up here. So we'll have a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. And what I should have done, I had my embossing buddy here, but I forgot to pull it in and use it. I often forget to do that, and it's so helpful to have that. Okay, we're going to open up our gold embossing, and I'm just going to add that. Okay, and then we'll bring in the heat tool and warm that up. So here's the heat tool, but I'm not going to do that with you right now with the screen or with the noise level and just trying to get that done. I already have one that I have done that with, so I'm going to set this one aside, and I will heat that in just a few minutes. It really is like magic if you haven't watched that before. So now we want to color this, and there are a couple of ways that we could probably do this. So we're going to experiment with that just a little bit. Now on my card, what I did was I put a drop of the pigment white ink on a block, and I used an Aquqpainter to paint that. I didn't pay attention to all of the lines in there and just kept going over them. I had seen a video, and that's what she did, and that's why my gold inside there doesn't show up. So I wanted to see if there were other things that I could do. So one of the things that you could do is to use one of the color pencils, the watercolor pencils, and I'm using the white, and you can just take that and color. Now that would take a long time to do, but you can see it works. And I'm just picking a section at a time and coloring between those lines. But you can see that looks good. I'll do one more little section. So I think a white color pencil would definitely work to do the card. Let's compare the original here. Yes, you can do that. Let's see what happens if you use the chalk marker, the Stampin' Chalk marker. So I'm going to pick a different part of the flower and start coloring with the chalk marker. And again, I'm trying to avoid those gold lines. Didn't do too good right there. And we will color in a few petals of this. And I'm just, instead of doing straight lines, I'm doing tiny circles. I don't know if it would matter. Now it may be that this isn't looking quite as smooth, but I think you could use this. I think if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably go with the pencil. And then let's see how this other works. So I'm going to take a drop of the pigment ink, and put it on my block. I'm going to add, you don't want to add a lot of water, so I'm going to add a little bit of water to that, and I think we'll color over here. This definitely, I think, goes faster. It might be a little harder to avoid some of those gold lines. And you may have to do more than one coat. And it could be that if you went back with the chalk marker and did another coat with that it would make a big difference. Either way, we probably want to avoid going over and over these gold lines. Okay, so that's what that would look like, and this is what I used on my card. I did go back and do a couple of layers to get it more covered. I think I probably watered it down a little bit more than this is, but I think this will be better. Now what you can do with this is heat that again with your heat tool and get it really dry, and then you can do more than one coat of that. Okay, so I'm going to pull in this piece. This one was colored using the pigment, the white pigment ink, and this is good and dry, and you can see if you compare these two that you can still see a lot of that gold that might have been hidden on my original. Now let's talk about how to get this pink on there. I'm going to pull in a sponge dauber and a petal pink pad, and we're just going to start from the center and work out and just add that. Now you're going to want to make sure that it's good and dry before you do that part. But you can see that is very pretty and really not that hard to do. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is to color our leaves, and for this I'm going to pull in just an old olive, light old olive marker, and color those in. And I didn't look at this really good before I started the video, and we did use this in class, and my point is not as good as it needs to be. I'm going to just turn it to the other side. And I am just going over the gold with that in the interest of trying to get it done. So we tried the pigment re-inker. We tried the chalk marker. And we tried the white pencil. And all of those I think would work. Actually right now it looks like the colored pencil might be looking the best. Let's see how these two would do with the pink. Okay, so this was the colored pencil. Yeah, it would color. And then this one over here was the chalk marker. Yeah, and I think the pink would show up on any of those. I think it might look better with the Aquqpainter and the pigment paint. Okay, now for our tag here, we're going to use the word hello. We'll use the Versamark again, and that will go on some kind of scrap. We'll use the gold embossing powder and then heat that up, and it's going to turn out to look like this. So I already have that ready, and what I'm going to do is add this panel to the early espresso, and the measurements for this will be on my blog post, and that will be linked at the bottom of this video or in the information below the video. Now I'm going to take some of the linen thread, and I'm just going to tape it back here. Let me bring in some tape. And then I'm going to run that around here a couple times. And then I'll tape it again on the back and trim. Okay. And then I'm going to add this to the card on a dimensional, and instead of using a lot of dimensionals, I've decided to use this adhesive strip. So I'm going to add that to the back of the card. I'm just going to kind of measure and cut that and put that down the side. I'll take this one and put it down here, and then we'll measure this space, and one will go here, and then one down here. Now this is going to make it raised just a little bit more than a normal card would be. The adhesive strips are just a little bit thicker than our dimensionals. Okay, so I'm going to add this to the center of the card. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of my hello. Okay. And kind of put that in the center. And then I've made a bow already from linen thread, and I will get a glue dot, here they are, and I'm just going to put that in there. I rolled that up, you can see, and I'm just going to add it here in the corner, and that's the front of the card. And you can see, I hope, that the gold does show up a little bit better on this one than that one. I think you just need to avoid those lines when you are adding your white. Now on the inside of this card, I have stamped that flower again. So I'm going to add that here in the corner. And then I've also added the words, thinking of you. All of this is from the Magnolia stamp set. And then we're going to color the Magnolia using our blends. So I'm going to bring in my light and dark petal pink and my light and dark old olive. Start to say old navy. On this one, I really and truly only used one shade. But you can use both shades if you want. I think that I'm just going to use the one again, though. And I'm going to color in. This one is with the dark old olive. And that was just because I was having a little bit of trouble with that other one. Time to replace. And then I'm going to use the lighter petal pink, and I'm just going to put some of that down here in the little crevices or whatever, a little bit down here at the bottom. And isn't that pretty? You know, you can add some of the darker if you want. I think I'll use the bigger. Just on down here toward the bottom. Doesn't really make much of a difference. Okay. And then that's going to go on the inside of the card. We pull this one in. Okay. And here are the two cards. I really think that's beautiful and not that hard to make, really, if you look at it step by step. Again, my blog will be linked at the end of this video. If you need supplies, I would love to help you with that. And there is a link to my online store below also. Thanks so much for joining me today. And I hope you enjoy the Magnolia Lane Suite. Thanks. Bye-bye.